Come on over here. I want to direct everyone again to CNNMoney.com. If you want the latest financial news and analysis, this is the best site in the business, and our money team does a terrific job. The lead story here, what's missing from Wall Street reform? A lot of folks say a lot is missing. Let's get you to the middle screen here for a look at stocks. New York Stock Exchange, 3 hours into the trading day. We've been in negative territory for most of the day, and it remains the case. We're down 7. NASDAQ, Jen, what was that again? NASDAQ is down 13. We'll follow these numbers for you throughout the day here in the newsroom. And while we're focusing on money, let's discuss for a minute here the growing bill related to that oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Cost estimates for cleanup of the damages right now well into the billions of dollars. I think I heard a figure earlier today of about $14 billion when all is said and done. We are getting conflicting messages on who will pick up that tab. Our senior congressional correspondent, Dana Bash, is on that story. And Dana, good to see you. What's the bottom line on this? Is BP ultimately, as the president has suggested, going to pick up the whole tab on this?
There's confusion over the answer to that question, Tony. You mentioned that the cost could be about $14 billion. Well, federal law only requires BP to spend $75 million in economic damages. And you listen to the White House, they say, of course, BP is going to pay. But there's a lot of skepticism here on Capitol Hill, especially from Senator Bill Nelson of Florida. He met with BP executives yesterday at their request. And afterwards, I want you to hear what he said about this. But first, I also want to play for you what the BP CEO said in response to a question from our own Ted Barrett about this issue. He said that they would pay legitimate costs, but never explain what legitimate is. Listen.
What I've said is what I mean. All legitimate claims will be honoured. And I would add one further point. I think it is inevitable that the OPA cap will be exceeded.
The CEO of BP has stated that they expect to exceed the liability cap of $75 million. And when I said, will you be responsible for the economic damages, he said that is something that we will have to work out in the future.
Whoa.
Now, after that meeting last night, Senator Bill Nelson there, along with some other senators, formally introduced legislation that would bump that cap up significantly to $10 billion and make it retroactive. I just asked the Senate Majority Leader a few moments ago whether he supports that. He said yes, but wouldn't commit to bringing it to the Senate floor.
Yeah, and Dana, as BP gets set to face a lot of scrutiny over this, probably important to make the point that this is a company that kind of knows its way around Washington, D.C. a bit.
Oh, they sure do. I mean, look, let's just start with the question of whether or not that they were here yesterday, and they were here making the rounds big time. And one of the things that they did was they met with the committee that is going to be investigating them. An interesting tactic there. They were invited by the committee. But what was fascinating, Tony, is that it was bipartisan, that they were not satisfied with their answers. Joe Barton, the Republican, said that they looked like deers in the headlights. Those are the executives. And listen to what Democrat Ed Markey said.
We asked a lot of questions. We did not get all of the answers that the American people, but especially the people down in the Gulf region, really deserve. BP is now known as British Petroleum. If this leak is not shut off soon, it will become known as Bayou Polluta.
Now, they're very frustrated that there not only are not answers, but that they say that BP simply did not prepare for this worst-case scenario, and they simply don't understand why they're doing it, in their words, on the fly and on the run. You mentioned the fact that the BP is no stranger to Washington. I just want to quickly put up some numbers on the screen for you just to show you how much they've invested in lobbying and campaign money. First of all, in lobbying, last year, nearly $16 million. And this year alone, they've already spent over $3.5 million. That's just in lobbying. And then campaign contributions in the last decade, Tony, over $3 million. And this year, in this election cycle alone, already spent $108,000, and the tab is running up. And guess what? The committee that received the most campaign contributions from BP is the committee that will hear BP executives next week. They know where their bread is buttered, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. All right, our senior congressional correspondent, Dana Bash, for us. Dana, great to see you as always. Thank you.